What is going on, guys? Twitchy Tango here, and today we're talking about the future of Resident Evil. Now, with Village being all said and done, we know that Chris is essentially not in the field anymore, and he just trains the Hound Squad. But we don't know anything else about the other characters. We now know because of Death Island that Jill, having bonded with the T virus, that in a way the antibodies have made her not age like everyone else, which again I think is lazy writing and stupid because I guess they need one legacy character. Might as well make it Jill. I think she deserves to age like Rebecca and Claire. It's just very cheap, if I'm being honest. Very lazy, but it's a way for them to keep one legacy character while everybody becomes dust and bones. But I feel like that's cheap. But if it means we get to keep one legacy character, sure, I guess I'm all for it. Also, Leon and Jill holding hands, my two favorite characters of Resident Evil. It's a couple now, damn it. Don't deny this. Just accept it. But I don't know, man. There's a lot that needs to be said and done, but at the end of the day, I just want something good. I feel like Village is one of the weaker of the entries in Resident Evil, and I'm hoping the next major one, which I'm sure they're working on right now, is actually good. Whether that's following Jill and Leon and Chris and Claire on some new journey, or they're taking on the corrupt BSAA with the help of Blue Umbrella, or plot twist, Blue Umbrella is still evil and they're working with the BSAA to use bioweapons across the globe. And it'll be up to our heroes to save the day. I don't know, man. I just want something concrete. I want some sort of resolution. I want our characters to have their day in the sun. Now that we know Jill is essentially going to be young forever, not really, but we know we're gonna have Jill in the next few Resident Evil titles with the new cast of characters. Even though, again, I think that's cheap. I think that's lazy writing. But at the end of the day, Capcom's gonna Capcom, and I just as long as they make good stories from it, I won't complain. But I don't know where their next journey is going to take. Do we focus on Jill? Do we focus on Rose? Do we focus on characters we haven't seen in a while, like Rebecca or Sherry? I feel like a Sherry and Jill team up would be pretty solid, if I'm being honest. I feel like that's one of those things that could make a lot of sense to do so. But again, I'm not in the writers' room, so I don't know. Maybe focus on Jill and Sherry because they're essentially the same now. Even though, again, lazy writing aside, you could have those two work together to take on a new threat, or you could have all our characters come back for one large, huge fan servicey type of thing. I feel like that's what Resident Evil 6, as much as I love Resident Evil 6, that's what it struggled with. It didn't do fan service right. So I feel like the next major Resident Evil should have all our heroes, our entire cast of heroes come together, whether it's Ada, Sherry, Jill, Claire, Rebecca, Leon, Chris, even Sheva, Barry, and bring them all together for one huge game. I think that's what Resident Evil needs to do. Have one large fan service, have them all go out with a bang, have them finally be able to call it a day and retire because they're getting old, guys. They're going to be pushing 50s in their 50s soon. So it only makes sense that we have some sort of end to their character arc and just not let them keep going. But, like I said, at the end of the day, Capcom's going to Capcom. They're going to do what they want to do. But I generally want to try to understand that. Like, I just don't understand it. I want Capcom to do what they feel is right, but I also don't want it to feel cheap. I want our characters to come together for one last big game so they can sell off into the sunset, so to speak. Have our heroes come together to face a great evil, whether it's something global like Resident Evil 6, or it's something small like in a mansion again, for old time's sake. I don't know, just something that feels like it makes sense to have them doing what they're doing. I just want our characters to have some sort of peace. I want our characters to have their day in the sun, so to speak, because they really need it, man. Not seeing Claire or Rebecca as often isn't great. I'm glad we're finally getting to see Jill, but again, I have concerns about that because of the track record of the CGI movies with like Claire and Rebecca in Vendetta and Infinite Darkness, as well as I think is it Degeneration that Claire showed up with Leon, and she was completely sidelined for a Laura Bailey character that we've never seen again. So there's not a good track record with this sort of stuff. Claire and I'm half expecting Jill to end up getting sidelined, and it's going to be up to freaking Chris and Leon to save her. And I think that's cheap because Jill is great; she's a badass. But at the end of the day, like I say, Capcom is going to Capcom, even if it's not for the good of the franchise or good for our characters, because our ladies deserve better. Claire deserves better, and Jill deserves better. From my understanding, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Ada is completely utter garbage. And I think that sucks because she doesn't deserve that. So I'm hoping for the best for Jill in Death Island. I'm hoping that the future is bright for our characters because you got to do something to end their storylines in a meaningful way that doesn't involve killing them. But maybe that's what Capcom needs to do is kill off our main characters except Jill and Chris and have them sort of lead the forefront. Or I don't know. I just feel like we need some sort of end to our characters because they need some sort of end. They need to retire. It's their time to rest, man. They're going to be pushing in their 60s and 70s trying to do kick flips and bicycle kicks, and they're going to break a hip. Like, you got to do something to fix fix a point to end it with them. Who knows? Maybe when Resident Evil 10 hits, they're all going to retire, going to be in a nursing home fighting a reborn Wesker who's in a wheelchair. I don't know, man. Just something. I just need some sort of end. I need the future to be bright. I think what we need is to have our characters show up for one last time to allow the next generation of new characters to take the fight to Bioterror. Because I feel like that's the only way you can do it properly is have them all come together to save the world one last time, whether it's against the BSAA, Blue Umbrella, Alex Wesker, dare I say a reborn Albert Wesker. And that's what you got to do at the end of the day. You got to do something like that because our characters need some sort of end because they're not getting any younger and allow the next generation of heroes to take their place, like Rose. Do I think Rose needs to be the main character going forward? No, because the time I spent with her just feels like it isn't enough. But one can make the argument that was could be the same set for Jill, Chris, Claire, and Leon. But even then, I enjoyed my first experience with Claire, Chris, Leon, and Jill. I'm just not too big on Rose. But maybe that says a lot more about me than it does anything else. I just need some sort of I don't hate her. I think she's okay, but I don't she's not like main character material. Maybe it's just because she's young. I don't know. But I want my heroes to I want our heroes to get their one final day in the sun, be able to call it a day, and that's it. I'm super excited for Resident Evil 4 remake, which you already know they're starting production on the next major Resident Evil 9. And one can only hope it has some sort of huge fan service send off moment where all heroes come together to save the day one last time and allow the next generation to go out and about to take on bioterror. But I don't know, man. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hopeful. I hope that Jill has done justice in Death Island, and I hope we get to see more of her going forward. I hope we get to see more of Claire going forward and more Ada. And I'm hoping with the Separate Ways DLC that we're going to be getting that they do Ada justice because from what I've heard from a lot of people I follow is that Ada is completely just bad in the remake, and I feel like our ladies deserve better. But I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. What do you think the future of Resident Evil needs to be like? Do you think they just need to kill off all the characters and start fresh? Do you think they need to give them one last proper send off? Let me know down below. And of course, if you enjoyed the content, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. It helps your boy out, gets me pushed into the algorithm. And of course, if you're feeling really generous, hit that subscribe button, turn notification bells on. And with that, that's the video. I love you all. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.